Joining me now, as he does every week, is one of the finest thinkers of his generation, the author of international bestsellers including The Madness of Crowds and The War on the West, Douglas Murray. Douglas, the 24 presidential campaign is heating up. We know Donald Trump is the front runner to be the Republican nominee, but Ron DeSantis is ready for a fight.
Our border is a disaster. Crime infests our cities. The federal government makes it harder for families to make ends meet, and the president flounders. But decline is a choice. Success is attainable, and freedom is worth fighting for. Righting the ship requires restoring sanity to our society, normalcy to our communities, and integrity to our institutions.
Douglas, the Florida governor yesterday announced he's running on Twitter. It's a whole new ball game.
Yes, that's right, Rita. Everyone was expecting Ron DeSantis to announce at some point. There was rumor some weeks ago that maybe he was actually going to sit this one out, but most people thought at some point he was going to throw his hat in the ring. He is an extremely good candidate by any analysis. He spent years in Congress. He's been an incredibly successful governor of Florida, and at about half the age of the lead contenders for the Republican and Democrat Party, you know, he's got a certain spring in his step. His launch was unconventional, as you referred to, in that he launched in a discussion with Elon Musk and David Sachs on Twitter. And some of DeSantis's rivals enjoyed the fact that there was a certain amount of technical failure of a kind we all got used to during the pandemic years that went on at the beginning of the launch. But I don't think it made any impact at all. The hour or more that DeSantis was on air, he answered very in-depth questions. He didn't just give the jargon that any politician can give. He actually got into details and serious policy questions. And I thought it was a very good start, actually.
I thought he did brilliantly. And the fact that there were technical issues were largely due to the fact that so many people were trying to listen live. I think at one point there was more than 600,000 just listening live, and millions more have since listened to that 1 hour. So very impactful indeed. But of course, the media has completely lost its mind when it comes to DeSantis, as they did with Trump. Here's just one example of how unhinged segments of the mainstream media have become. This is from Vanity Fair. It says Ron DeSantis will formally announce his 2024 bid with Elon Musk because apparently David Duke wasn't available. And this appeared, Douglas, under news, not some insane, satirical, far-left opinion section. This was supposedly a news story.
Isn't it amazing, Rita? I mean, we've talked about this before, about Elon Musk himself, of course. Elon Musk was found guilty by the New York Times of being born in South Africa when apartheid was going on. And they sort of tried to do a hit job against him as if the infant Elon Musk was in some way responsible for apartheid. I think everybody's alive to this now. Vanity Fair has been a very fine publication in the past. Clearly, they have no standards anymore. I mean, what is that? If anyone who doesn't know, David Duke is a former wizard or whatever they call him of the Ku Klux Klan. So it's just a straightforward attempt to say that Ron DeSantis and or Elon Musk is a member of the KKK. Well, here's the thing. They've been doing this against DeSantis and against Musk for years now. DeSantis has had his attempts to stop young children being exposed to overly sexualized material spun into being apparently a bill that stops you saying the word gay in Florida. You know, we went through that whole nonsense. Just in recent days, the NAACP, one of the most famous historic organizations for Black Americans, issued a travel advisory that its members should not travel to Florida because Florida is unsafe because of DeSantis. Well, as he himself pointed out at his launch event, Rita, the chair of the NAACP actually lives in Florida, so he obviously doesn't abide by his own travel warnings. But this is all just a crock. They're just throwing everything they can at DeSantis, just like they did at Trump, just as they did actually at Mitt Romney and John McCain. I mean, all these people talk about the good Republicans. But they all smeared the so-called good Republicans as much as any of the ones that they think are bad Republicans. It doesn't matter. If you're on the right, you're fair game.